Okay, so here's Dave and Nina.
Hi, Al.
Hi. So Nina, how long has it been since you were visiting Frost Valley? Did you come to one of the reunions?
2005 or 6? When was the last reunion?
And what were your years roughly at the camp? 1981.
1981 until 95. That was the last one.
Who was your first counselor?
I feel like Eileen Bradley was my first counselor. I think that was Susky. Yeah.
And then later you were the village chief of Tacoma.
Yeah. And I led some trips too. I did a lot of trip leading.
Tell us one Eric Blum memory.
Eric, I feel like when I wasn't coming all the time, like, you know, I'd come maybe for a month or so, all of a sudden I'd pull in, and Eric would always be there, and
You mean the guy who saw you when you pulled in?
yeah, he was just always there, but he was always like, oh, Eric, I caught you, good, I'm glad I caught you while you're here, because, you know, towards the end he was, I mean, the last few years that I was here, he was only around for like a month or so.
For a month, that's right.
So, yeah, so it was always just...
So he was the
and we'd
first
always,
guy to
you know,
greet you.
yeah, we'd always hang out, and I'd always like Eric.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then here's Dave.
Hello.
What were your years?
My tenure was much more brief than Nina's. I was here from 1986 to 1990, I think.
86 was Eric's first summer.
Eric's first summer, and he and I were together in cabin 10, our first summer together. So
Wait, say that again?
So Eric and I our introduction to Frost Valley was in cabin 10 together as co-counselors.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
you didn't know that?
So you had plenty of Blum.
I had a summer of
Maybe that's when I
I had a
started, yeah.
what we should call it a blummer. It was a Blum summer. Yes,
That was Forest.
that was Forest Village.
That was. I've heard many stories about that forest.
That was a great village. Right? Frank was VC.
Frank DeGraw was VC.
Eric told me many stories of those evenings.
Those campfires
We can't
were
tell those stories.
legendary.
Can't tell those stories.
There's nothing to say. It was just a good time.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So
I remember a belt buckle. That's what I remember. A gigantic belt buckle.
Tell us one Eric story.
One Eric story.
Yeah,
Boy. That's going to be difficult because only one story, getting it distilled down for the camera.
Yeah.
One of the first CQs we had. Like we didn't know Blum really from a hole in the wall.
Right.
And your cabin was pitching a fit. And he went in his full Marine voice. Gentlemen, you are giving me severe gastrointestinal discomfort. And the kids had no idea what the hell he was talking about. And that's like Blum's introduction to Frost Valley staff.
Does that resonate with you?
I can't beat that. I just can't beat that. That's,
Do you remember that?
Were you in that forest also?
I was. So they were cabin. Frank was
Beer down.
cabin.
This is a Frost Valley.
Frank was cabin 7. And who in the world knows what he was doing?
Frank DeGraw.
Frank DeGraw. I was cabin 8. I was solo in cabin 8. You guys were in cabin 10.
Jason Solomon and Mike Gold were in cabin 9. Is that right?
Sounds familiar.
What was going on there
I
either?
was going to say, this is a weird all-star stack.
Right? It was, and so, look, Frank let us kind of do what we wanted to do. It was a good summer.
Frank is going to watch this. So.
Well, and it'll bring back memories.
All right, Dave, final word on this.
Final word.
What are you feeling this weekend?
I am feeling extremely grateful to be here and surrounded by everyone that's here right now to celebrate Eric. That's how I feel.
Thank you. Thank you, Nina.
I think you said it best.